What in the fuck is going on? Yeah, it says I'm fucking live. There it is right there. Aha! We are back. All right, cool. Jesus Christ. I will have this all straightened out within the next week. Promise. So let's get back to what I was saying. So, let's see. Said the company strategically seeded around 100 organic style posts and comments across relevant subreddits, from gaming and shooter communities to robotics focused forums. The articles bragged that these contributions highlighted gameplay mechanics, sparked discussion, and organically introduced the title to engaged, high intent audiences. And as he did in February's post, the CEO said that the content was crafted so seamlessly that both users and subreddit moderators engaged with it as authentic community discussions rather than promotion. This organic integration proved highly effective, serving as a catalyst that encouraged curiosity, sparked conversation, and ultimately motivated Redditors to discover and try the game on their own terms. I don't quite understand what the big deal was here. Uh, both of these posts had been up for months before being noticed by the R Games subreddit via Katako, after which they were quickly deleted. It's not hard to understand why. An outright confession of what sure sounds like a blatant astroturfing. I guess I'm ignorant when it comes to this. A deceptive marketing campaign that's meant to look like a natural, spontaneous. Oh, I see it now. Spontaneous conversation is probably not the sharpest move for any company that wants to attract or keep new clients. Not that all potential clients would necessarily object to an astroturfing campaign, especially if it's effective. But blabbing about it for all the world to see might carry negative consequences. They're absolutely correct here. Now, if you're going to do something like this and you know that it could be construed as being a little shady, I would probably shut up about it. I would probably just keep going about the way I need to. Now I know I'm back because I'm getting comments. Let's break for a comment real quick. Uh, First and foremost, thank you, Jacob, for watching the special edition of Talking Tuesday. Let's talk Far Cry 7. Ooh. Oh, we're getting into a game that Godfather hasn't looked up. I'm going to, though. Let's talk Far Cry 7. What do you think of the supposed 72-hour in-game timer to complete the storyline? 24 real-time hours. It's garbage. I don't like it. And I'll tell you why I don't like it, okay? So, to put anybody on a timeline, and I need to go look at Far Cry 7, but to put anybody on a timer for a game that is meant to be entertaining is crap. Unless they are doing it for a an achievement. If it's an achievement, then all right, I could probably see it. But as far as putting me under the gun to complete it in 24 hours, uh-uh. Because with most Far Cries, you have all these side quests that you need to go do, and it's going to take you a lot longer. You're going to miss something, miss a very key Easter egg, or you're going to miss something that you're really going to enjoy if you're just flying through the game. By the way, Jacob, I'm looking it up right now. Uh, we're not going to Reddit. That was the very first thing I saw. Okay, so here is an article from Vice back on September the 11th. Far Cry 7 will focus more on multiplayer, Ubisoft confirms. Ubisoft is at one of those companies uh that's in crisis mode right now. They have been selling off a lot of IPs. I haven't heard much about them. In fact, I haven't heard shit about Far Cry 7 until Jacob just said something to me about it. So, with that being said, uh, this might be a game that I need to start paying attention to. Remember back in the mid to late 2000s when it felt like every gaming company was finding a way to shoehorn multiplayer into every game? Yes, actually, I do. The rallying cry at the time became not everything needs to be multiplayer. Oh my God. They're coming up with another great line for me that I'm going to spin off on. And for a time, the push did seem to slow. Things were great. But what would Ubisoft be if they weren't saying things that absolutely no one wanted to hear? This time, it's about the Far Cry franchise. We're going to break this down a little bit more. They are correct. In the 2000s, everybody wanted single player. But there was a reason why everybody wanted single player because online mode was not at that point yet. It was coming around, but it wasn't there yet. If you look back at a game from that time frame that was multiplayer, let's look at James Bond 007. GoldenEye wasn't the best. I'm trying to Black Hawk Down, perfect game from that time frame. It was decent, but it wasn't the best. Call of Duty was just starting to swing into that. Again, for that time frame, it was decent. You look back at it, it was garbage. So at that time, that was not the gaming industry. At that time, single player games was the norm for video games. That's like right now. If you've been watching anything to do with me, you would know that I asked one simple question. Would you support Starfield if it was multiplayer? A good majority out there said yes. But then you also had about 49% who said no. It's the same argument. I'm still trying to find uh, Poker's question, though. As reported by GameFile and covered by Inside Gaming, Ubisoft CEO, I'm not going to try to say that name because it's a foreign name, gave some insight into the future of the franchise at the new Global Sport Conference. He explained that the goal with Far Cry 7 is really to bring the multiplayer aspects more predominantly pushed so that it can also be played for a long time by players. Now he has said the quiet part out loud. They are, if you look at all the major games, and I'm going to get to my comments in just a second, so please just give me a second. If you look at all the major games that are out there today, all of them have an online presence. All of them take about a decade, maybe 15 years, to bring out a new game. Ubisoft is late to that game, especially with Far Cry. We're up to Far Cry 7 now. Ubisoft, I think, is going to jump on that multiplayer aspect of it, and they're going to drag Far Cry 7 as far out as they can before they jump for a Far Cry 8. Far Cry is a very good franchise. I am not knocking it by any means. I've thoroughly enjoyed playing it. However, me looking at it from the outside in, that's what Ubisoft's doing. Ubisoft sees the cash cow that is Grand Theft Auto. They see the cash cow that is Fallout 76. They see all these other MMOs. World of Warcraft is another one. They see that cash cow out there. and they want a little bit of it. They're also the makers of Skull and Bones, and they see what kind of money they're making off of that. So this actually makes a lot of sense. Time will only tell if they're going to have Far Cry 7 out for 15 years before they get a Far Cry 8. All right, let's get into our questions. I feel a little bit more obliged to go to the questions since I had my technical issue earlier. The article I read said your choices will affect gameplay and the ending. That is actually a very good thing. Focusing on saving family members, but with the timer, you may not be able to save all members in one playthrough time. Okay, I think I know where he's going with this, and I think I know where Ubisoft is going. Ubisoft is doing what Bethesda did best. Bethesda has gotten away from it. And for everyone out there who doesn't know, when I refer to the actual companies, when I say Bethesda, I'm talking Starfield, I'm talking Fallout, I'm talking Elder Scrolls, uh, and then Ubisoft being Skull and Bones, the Assassin's Creed, and the Far Cry. Uh, Bethesda used to do this all the time with Fallout. It's called a decision based ending, and that's why if you go back to Fallout 4, it is your decision on which ending that you get. You can either have the railroad ending, the the Institute ending, the uh, Brotherhood ending. You've got like 4 or 5 of them. I'd have to go back and take a look. Uh, but if that's what Ubisoft is going to do with Far Cry 7, I promise each and every one of you players out there, this game, if done correctly, is going to be in the discussion line for Game of the Year. It's going to be that good. The only problem with a game like that I see, and it is no secret out there that I am huge on lore. I'm huge on game lore. The only problem is the same problem that we fell into with Fallout 4 was what is the lore ending? Did the Institute take over? Did the Brotherhood take over? Did the Railroad take over? Did the settlers take over? Who took over? Who did what? You never know. Now, from that ending, one of them, you already know they either get blown the fuck up or die, or they take over the world. But the other ones, you don't know that. Brotherhood of Steel, I think you have to go in and wipe them out. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think you have to wipe out everybody else and just one of the factions makes it. I'd have to look at it again. It's been a while since I played the ending. However, if this is the way that Ubisoft is going, I'm not a big Ubisoft player, but I can see myself playing some Far Cry 7. As long as it ain't priced ridiculous, I can see it. Uh, I don't want more multiplayer in Far Cry Ubisoft, and I am not the only one. You know, you might not be, but whoever said uh these game developers quite care what you think. That's not me being mean. That isn't. That's me leveling with you, and that's me being honest with you. Because if you think Rockstar cares about you, you're wrong. If you think Bethesda cares about you, you're wrong. If you think Ubisoft cares about you, you are wrong. If you think Activision cares about you, Blizzard, any of them, you're wrong. The only thing these companies care about is their shareholders. The only thing these companies care about is making money, and that's it. Now, the ones who might care what you think are the indie gamers, the ones that are still up and coming. They might care what you want. I guarantee you that Ubisoft does not. Let's see. I am still. Oh, I know what I could do. Far Cry 7 achievements. Let's look into the achievements if we can. Oh, there's no confirmed achievements yet for Far Cry 7 because the game has not been officially announced or. Oh, this hasn't even been announced or released. I know it hasn't been released, but I didn't know it wasn't announced. It's going to be skill based challenges. Okay. Story and progression. Achieving a certain story milestones or completing the game on higher difficulties. Okay. That's most single player games. Collection and exploration. That's always been into Far Cry's. Gameplay specific tasks. Capturing outposts without being detected or using a specific weapon to kill certain enemy types. That's an Ubisoft thing. Just go look at Assassin's Creed. Uh, Now, this article that you read, could it have said it takes around 20 to 25 hours to unlock all the achievements? I don't I'm not doubting that the article is not out there, but I'm trying to find it and I'm trying to uh narrow down the search pattern. Well, no shit, I already know that. I found it. I got it. Rumors suggest Far Cry 7 may introduce a 72-hour in-game time limit for players, adding urgency to gameplay. That is going to be a horrible idea, Ubisoft. Don't do it. As they say in the Navy, you better go hard to starboard or hard to fucking port because if you keep plowing ahead with this game is going to freaking go down in flames. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, I just found it. I put I kind of gamed the system a little bit to find it, but I did find it. It's a little hard to get anything of reputable behind it because everything right now out there is speculative because the game hasn't been announced and we're not getting any real big updates from Ubisoft yet. Uh, oh, here we go. Game Rant had it. Game Rant had it. When was this article done? Published May 21st of 2024. This is an oldie. This is an old one. More and more rumors and reports have started to surface around Far Cry 7 and I normally don't report about rumors, but this game looks like it's about to come out. With almost 3 years having passed since the franchise's last major release, I don't want to read all that. One dominant rumor hints that the game's single player narrative will be centered around an in game time limit that the player needs to be constantly wary of. Time limits such as this have worked very well in other games over the years. Please name them. And the gameplay implications that this would have on Far Cry 7 are clear to see. While this potential impact on gameplay would be a defining part of Far Cry 7, if this rumor holds weight, how it will shape the story of the upcoming release would be just as important. Dear God, tell me what other game has that. I'm about to make a prediction here. One comment about this article. If Far Cry 7 is time limited, I personally think that it would be so sad if true. I would have to pass on buying it. I played 5 and 6 and was looking forward to 7. So here's the deal, okay? One, this article is very old, so we're not going to put too much stock into it. But I absolutely hate it when an article alludes to other games, but will not tell you the other games. If you know of a game out there that is time limited, tell me down in the comments. I want to know. I want to go look at it. I will be bringing this back up next Tuesday for Talking Tuesday. We are going to be going deep, way deep into Far Cry 7. We're going to go way deep into time limited games because, to my memory, and I've been playing most major uh, titles out there since the mid 90s, and I can't remember one of them being time limited. Now, maybe being time limited to get like the ultra platinum or some rare of the rare of the rare. I can see that. Because then what you do after you beat it, if you beat it, then it records to your profile, to your Steam profile. It records to your PlayStation. It records to your Xbox. It records to your Switch. Then that stays with you. Then you can go back and replay the game without the time limit and do all your side quests. That I can see. There's a lot of very inquisitive possibilities with this game. I like what Ubisoft is doing with it. Uh, I'm just shocked that this isn't being reported on more by the major news outlets for gamers. So I just put out there, when is Far Cry 7 supposed to come out? It's not been officially announced. It was originally planned for 25, 26, but has been delayed to 26 or potentially later due to development complexities. All right. So we all know what the complex issue is for Ubisoft. Ubisoft is literally going through a downturn right now. Not bankruptcy, but they're selling IPs, they're selling older games. Uh, some of their big names have not had good releases. Assassin's Creed was eh, it wasn't really on fire. So I don't really see it coming out in 26. 27 I could probably see. 26, I'm sorry. If a game is going to launch at the end of 26, they're a fool. Because everyone and their damn brother is going to be running to Rockstar to play their latest edition of Grand Theft Auto. They just are. Uh, Jake, thank you. I loved the comment. Uh, I did not know about. I hadn't been looking too much into Far Cry because I hadn't seen much about it. Oh, let's see. Battlefield 6 worst bugs are finally getting to boot this week. Say goodbye to drones or to drone hammer flight and unstoppable lock on missiles. I knew this was coming. I did. Uh, and that's good for Battlefield 6. All right. That would mark the news of the day. So, like I said again, we're got ready to wrap up this special edition of Talking Tuesday. I know it's Monday, but tomorrow I will not be gaming. I will not be streaming. I am going to be celebrating Veterans Day with all of my brothers and sisters in arms. Uh, And then tomorrow night is my annual dinner with my favorite veteran out there. I'm a little partial to this veteran only because she is my daughter. So it is an annual tradition that me and her go out to dinner on Veterans Day, and that's what we're going to do. But if you know a veteran in your life, if you talk to him all the time or her, and even if you don't talk to that veteran all the time, reach out and just say, "Hey, thank you for what you did." Uh, Veterans will sit there and bitch, and they'll tell you they don't want to hear it, but it does feel good to have somebody just say, "Thank you for what you did." Um, it means a lot. Uh, thank you, Jacob. Uh, but anyways, that's for tomorrow. For Wednesday, we're going to be back on our streaming schedule. Uh, it'll be a Grand Theft Auto 5 night. It's been about a month since I've done it. We're going to start off with Red Dead Redemption. I got to get my dailies done there, and then we're going to jump to Grand Theft Auto. On Thursday, we got Thirsty Thursday on the original time, original day, 7 p.m. with your beverage of choice. Friday, I don't know what's coming up Friday yet. I got to check with my brother, see if we have anything going on. I highly doubt it, but